The actions taken to date by the President have seriously violated the Constitution, especially when the President says, Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. For the past several months, we have been investigating in our committees and litigating in the courts, so the House can gather all the relevant facts and consider whether to exercise its full Article 1 powers, including a constitutional power of the utmost gravity, approval of articles of impeachment. And this week, the President has admitted to asking the President of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the President's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry. The President must be held accountable. No one is above the law.
So let's bring in our US correspondent Connor Duffy, who was also at the Capitol. And Connor, good morning to you. She did not hold back there, accusing the President of betraying his oath of office and even going as far as accusing him of undermining US national security with those series of phone calls to his Ukrainian counterpart.
Yes, good morning, Michael. As you said, a huge and momentous day in US politics that will long be remembered. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has been holding off impeachment, saying that Democrats needed to convince the American public that it was absolutely necessary. And you just heard her try and do that by saying that Donald Trump is undermining the very ideals on which America was founded. This all goes back to a phone call about a month ago that he had with Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky. And in that phone call, Democrats essentially allege that he tried to bribe Ukraine by saying that he would continue to withhold military aid unless Ukraine investigated Joe Biden and his family. Now, the background to this is that Republicans believe Joe Biden's son, the strongest Democratic candidate at the moment, Hunter Biden, is his Achilles. He's had a long and troubled history with substance abuse and relationship problems, and he sat on the board of Ukrainian gas company, collecting about at least $3 million in revenue. Democrats allege that in his eagerness to damage a political rival, Donald Trump has overplayed his hand and essentially held a foreign country to ransom to achieve his own political aims. Earlier today, we heard from Vice President Joe Biden himself, and here's what he had to say.
He continues to obstruct Congress and flout the law. Donald Trump will leave Congress, in my view, no choice but to initiate impeachment.
So, Connor, take us through what happens next.
Well, we understand that as we speak, Michael, US President Donald Trump is at Trump Tower in New York. No doubt he was tuning in too on cable news. What happens now is that these committees will continue to gather evidence. As House Speaker Pelosi mentioned, there'll be an important hearing on Thursday where the Director of National Intelligence will be grilled about this whistleblower who first raised issues with this phone call and other matters involving President Trump. The committee will investigate. If it gets to the point where there's a vote, the House will vote on impeachment. If that vote succeeds, it will go to the Senate, where a trial will be held of the president. That needs a 2/3 majority to convict and impeach Donald Trump. But at this stage, that seems extremely unlikely if things do get that far, given Republicans have so far stood resolutely by President Donald Trump, and all of this will be playing out in the hypercharged environment leading up to the 2020 election.
Spot on, Connor. You make the very important point there, speaking about the hyper-political nature of the United States at the moment. There has been this fear, and I'm sure the fear is still there within some members of the Democratic caucus, that pressing the impeachment button will simply energise the Republican base, will energise Donald Trump's supporters. So there is a bit of political risk here as well, isn't there?
I would say there's a huge amount of political risk here, Michael. Skeptics are saying we've seen this show before with the Mueller inquiry, that after 2 years of investigation that went nowhere. House Speaker Pelosi tried very hard to burnish her national security credentials during that short statement she gave. But skeptics are saying we don't really know anything about this whistleblower. All we know is that the aid was withheld. We know that President Trump did mention the Bidens, but in exactly what context we don't yet know. President Trump has promised to release a transcript of the phone call tomorrow, so we will know more then. And if there's not absolutely strong and compelling evidence that Donald Trump did seek this out, this is going to be incredibly risky for the Democrats and potentially very damaging.